Hey, everybody, welcome back to Marketplace Growth by Accoil. We have spoken to a lot of businesses, and what's the one thing that they want to do? Make more money, right? So you're in business to make revenue. And we're going to talk about 3 opportunities that you have as a business owner, as a business to grow your revenue. Kate, we've done a lot of talking. We've worked with a lot of companies over the past, several years. And the one thing that most of them do is sales, but you're leaving something else on the table there if you're not also focusing on retention and expanding your revenue. So today we're going to talk about those 3 opportunities that you have to add revenue to your business. And we're going to just jump right into it. Kate, let's start with talking about sales and what do we typically see here, and what's your thought around how we go about, you know, building up a sales engine?
Well, the new sales engine, I think, is a really interesting one because, particularly in this day and age where everyone gets their lists and then tries to send emails or whatever to everybody. So there's a whole game plan that one needs to think about this. But to me, it's always leaning in where the pull, lean into where you think the sweet spot is. Going back to all the stuff we've talked about in the past, your ideal customer, and then building a process that's exceptionally understanding of what your potential new customers are about. So it's about understanding the emotional aspect of what it means for using your product. It means understanding things like the functional, how well your product, how much value it delivers, where it blocks, etc., etc. And then I think the third area is that social aspect. Is how happy are your people to use your product so that they'll actually talk about it positively to someone else. So your whole process of your new sales is quite complicated, but I think often a big gap is people lack the understanding, and I think this is where the sweet spot is they lack the understanding of really understanding as their new users, new sales opportunities are coming on board, how well are they actually get into those aha moments of your product, the ones where they're getting through all the bits of the product. And if they get sure that they'll understand your product is, oh yes, I can actually get value out of this. So in Performers world, Pete, wasn't it? In Performers world is we knew they had to create a form, we knew they had to edit a form, and if they then saved and published it and filled it out, then we knew we were onto a good thing.
Yeah. So I think what you're talking about, what I'm hearing there is sort of like a product-led growth, kind of once someone's in and trying a product, how are they finding value from it, right? So that's one way of approaching sales. So product-led, we've also talked to a lot of companies that are doing product-led sales where there are trials, but then there's a sales team coming on the back of that. Also plenty of sales-led companies too, right? Which is still, in my opinion, a viable approach to growing that initial revenue. One of the things that I'd really like to, and I think we'll probably spend a bit more time on this next bit here, is so you've made that sale, regardless of how people have come through, whether it's product led or you've actually had a sales team reach out and close the deal. That's your initial revenue. But if we're talking SaaS, where does the bulk of your money actually come from? It's not that first month, it's keeping customers, right? So the second way that you can earn more money for your business is through retention or keeping your customers. Once they've gone through that and gotten that aha moment, what's your thinking around how we go about retaining customers? How did we do it at Proforma? What was your sort of way of approaching that there?
Well, we just had a very profound focus that every customer is important, which I know that's not attractive in this day and age, in that people think of customers as some more valuable than others. And I think that's true, but I think in principle that you really try to understand and not just take money and run. I think that's a really important principle. So if you actually come from that principle of I want to understand and make sure that every single customer is using my product well, and then working out what you're going to do with the ones that are just up and away and you don't need to do anything, what you need to tip into their plight to keep them happy, versus the ones that are really struggling versus the ones that are checked out. And there are different approaches for each of them, but the underpinning on all of it is you actually need to understand where everyone's at in the process and actually have done some work to look at your churn. And often think, oh, I don't have a churn problem. And I go, Yeah, but if you don't have an engaged user, then how will you expand?
It's a good segue into the next one, but I'm going to keep us here on retention for a minute
Yeah.
because I think this is like beyond initial sales. This is actually one of the biggest opportunities to grow your revenue is to make sure that you're keeping your customers for as long as you possibly can, provide value to them, right? So providing that in my thinking anyway, providing a good product isn't enough. There's got to be ongoing support. There has to be, I guess, what you call like customer success or account management. It's looking at your customers, how they're engaging with your product, what kind of questions you're getting from them through support or in product, and what kind of feedback are you getting. Because obviously, the longer someone sticks around, the more revenue you make from them. So if we're talking lifetime value, the longer they stick around, the bigger that lifetime value is, which is great for your
Well, I
company.
mean, it's your metrics, isn't it, Pete? You know, the reality with a SaaS business, if you get your metrics right and you control and manage your churn, you are really away. So if you get all these levers right, you sleep at night. You're building a
Yeah.
wonderful business using compound growth.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's, I'll underscore that, right? It's that compound growth that we're really chasing here. And the way that we've always talked about it is making sure that customers are happy and hey, they have a good reason to stick around.
And not in a Pollyanna way. Like, we're quite realistic. When people didn't like us and we were going to lose them, quite realistic on all of that. But how do you stop it happening another time in another situation?
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm going to move us on to the third way to grow your revenue, and that is expansion. And that is in a nutshell. So you've got your current customer base. If we walk through these three opportunities here, you've made the sale, you're keeping the customer. How else are you going to provide value to them? It could be additional seats, it could be additional use cases. We talked about this before hitting record today, Kate, where you can sell more seats, but you can also sell more products if you have more than one product that you're offering. What kind of interactions are you looking for here or what kind of signals are you looking for here for when we're talking about expansion and opportunities there to grow revenue?
Well, again, I think it comes back to understanding what everyone's doing. And potentially you'll need to do some analysis on that. And for me, expansion is all about, in a way, segmentation. It's all about understanding who's engaged and why, and what resonates with them to do more of something or to try something new. And to do that, you need to just build up what I would call, there's the underpinning foundation of trust and reliability and innovation, and just kind of respecting that you're your customers. And then the next level up is it's the segmentation and it's the understanding of the different needs, and then you working out your priorities and who your ideal targets and how you're going to execute and communicate to them, how you're going to influence them. And that then comes into marketing, it comes into potentially customer retention, it comes into customer support. So it's understanding which levers you're going to pull and your priorities, which can be hard in larger organisations where there's more complexity. So that's understanding the complexity. You need to understand the complexity to then drill it down to what your priorities and actions are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that too waffly, Pete?
I don't think so. I think, yeah, I mean, we might be able to, we might make it seem too simplistic, right, in a short video. But, the reality is what we wanted to talk about today is that you may be leaving money on the table if you're only focusing on sales or if you're only focusing on retention. So if you can sort of build the stool here, you've got sales, retention, and expanding the use cases and the revenue that you're getting from any particular customer. To your point, you'll build a great business. And that's sort of the philosophy that we take in building ours is we want to make sure that customers are engaged with the product, getting value out of it. And then that gives us the ability to keep them around longer, expand seat count, whatever it is. I think it's just really important. That's how you build a healthy business. It's not just sales and letting people churn out the bottom and then making more sales. That's just super stressful, in my opinion. Don't want that kind of business.
And I think you need to bring a level of pragmatism to this, because it's very easy to either undercook it and not think about it enough, or overcook it, and you literally try to design terribly complex processes that take 12 months, and then you've got to adapt and change your language. So we're quite pragmatic, aren't we, Pete? We're very pragmatic of how you prioritise and what you try and how you experiment, and being quite methodical on how you do that.
Yeah. And we are going to dive into some of the ways that you can do that, just take these practical approaches to each one of these three opportunities to grow your revenue in the coming videos. Just to sort of recap and some of the things that we will be looking at in more detail. So when it comes to sales, it's things like pipeline, trials, understanding what activation looks like and adoption looks like for people that are using your products. When it comes to retention, it's that adoption rates, frequency of use, level of engagement, and then expansion is looking at engagement with key features, additional seats. What kind of signals can you look for and can you plan for and build around, to increase your revenue through these three opportunities? I think just underpinning all that, it's important to remember that if you make a sale and you have an unengaged customer, that they're not going to stick around and they will not expand. So there's a lot more to dig into in this, to building that fantastically healthy business that we want you to have. So that's the challenge to you today, is to look at the business, look at these three opportunities, and just have a reality check. Where are you doing well and where are you not? And then pick, as Kate said, pick practical ways to sort of work on each one of these. You don't have to boil the ocean here. Every little bit helps. So anything to close on, Kate?
No, other than best of luck with it, everybody, and here's to you with more sales.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're going to release some more videos going into these opportunities. So we'll look at sales, we'll look at retention, and we'll look at expansion in more detail coming up soon. See ya.